Tips. Tips are going into the studio.
Make sure your guitars and all your instruments are in tune. Because it's so annoying. The producers hate it, don't they?
Get a good understanding for what the most decent local takeaways are. Because you're going to live off of takeaway food.
Studio food's amazing. Stock up on... It's like popcorn, M&Ms.
You always put on like 2 stone when you're in the studio.
But it makes you feel amazing. You're just like, yeah, it's like being on holiday and you're making music and that's your job and it's like, wow, this is amazing. We're just creating this sound of art. Art of sound.
These are like the worst tips ever for going into the studio. If you're going into the studio, what should you do? Do you know what I like recording late? We're nocturnal when we record.
This is a very good point, yeah.
So we do most of our songwriting and recording from, like, you start like 6 in the evening.
Yeah, about 6 in the evening.
And then you work through to the early hours of the morning. Either do that, or the last couple of albums we did, we went, like, one album we went to Sydney for 10 weeks, and we did like a massive block of recording in Sydney. And that was amazing, like getting out of England. You know, there's no one around, you can't do any press, and you can't, you know, there's no sort of distractions of home. All you can do is like go and have it with your band, you know, with your best mates, you go and have an experience. And I think that's the best thing, because every time I listen to that album, it reminds me of that time we spent in Sydney, and that it's like a whole little experience, isn't it? So if you can get out of the country and do it like a little trip, I always find that's way more productive than just doing it in, you know, when you're driving in and out of London or something. It becomes a bit like going to the office, and it's the whole point of being in a band, is that it's the coolest job in the world, so you don't have to...
Another tip actually is in a studio you have to be quite patient and I'll never forget Jason Perry saying that one rule in the studio is that everything you do, allow 2 or 3 hours to do it. Because it's just a rule in a studio that, you know, you set up the drums, you want to get a drum sound, you want to get a guitar sound, or you want to get a bass sound, but it could take an hour to get that before you've even started recording it or laying it down. So you could be just chilling at the back. So just be patient with that, because it's definitely worth working towards getting good sounds, even though you think, God, this guy's taking ages. In the end, it's definitely worth it.